Thanks, John. I may postulate on the future, so forward-looking. So just a little background. I'm not sure how well everybody knows the company. We were incorporated in 2010, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange. And that was the company. Renaissance was a spin-out of AUEX Ventures, which many of you may know was involved in a pretty significant discovery and success for shareholders on the Long Canyon project. Our focus is Great Basin. We're a prospect generator, as John said, and our focus is to make a discovery and to do it in large part by spending partners' money. So we generate the early stage ideas and opportunities, attract partners to come into our projects and spend money, and hopefully together make a discovery. The track record of the company depends on a good market, so it's been a pretty difficult slog for the last 4 or 5 years, but in the last 10 plus years, or actually since 2004, the company and its predecessors have entered into 65 exploration agreements with other companies. So we've got a proven track record of being able to attract partners to what we're doing and generate high enough quality targets to bring in funding from the outside. So what do we do as a prospect generator? I think most of you understand the model. We focus on the exploration stage. We're explorers, not miners. We've got a team with pretty large depth of experience. In fact, I calculated between our board and management, we have over 200 years of experience. By attracting partners into the projects, we minimize our financial risk. And at the end of the day, the goal is to make a discovery. And as an example on this picture here, I've got a picture of Long Canyon, which is now a mine being operated by Newmont. And by AUX, the predecessor, getting involved in that project, it created a very significant, actually an extreme share appreciation situation for shareholders. I like to point out that the shareholders who got into AUX at the beginning actually ended up at about 100-to-1 win on their initial investment. So we're trying to do that again. The team is essentially the same, and we're looking to repeat that success for our shareholders. Just to be clear, we're focused in the early stages of the exploration cycle, so we're looking at share appreciation associated with discovery. We're not miners, we're explorers, and so we want to repeat that success that I just mentioned at Long Canyon, and everybody understands this, so I'll just keep moving. Just a little bit about the team. Both our board of directors is a very seasoned group of people. I won't go into any details in this short venue, but seasoned career-long mining industry professionals covering a wide range of expertise from financial to mining engineering and geology and corporate development. The management team has been involved in a lot of past discoveries, a lot of those in Nevada, so we've done it before. We're looking to do it again, and we think we can. And again, of course, I like to mention the exploration team. These are the people who come up with the fresh ideas, and I think our value added in the exploration space is, Nevada's a pretty mature jurisdiction. And so the exploration team and what we do is come up with fresh ideas and concepts that have not been tested before. As John mentioned, a large part of what we do is looking undercover. I think with the large endowment of Nevada, the future is undercover. You'll hear more about that from James at Nevada Exploration. I think the endowment of Nevada is well recognized, and it takes a different exploration philosophy to find the next generation of deposits, which is what we're focused on doing. So just to go back a little bit of time, the market's been pretty soft, but in the last 1.5 to 2 years, it's been a really transformational period for the company. One of the first things that occurred in mid last year was Renaissance acquired another private prospect generator, Kinetic Gold. That was my company. We both knew each other for a long time. We brought the companies together thinking at the timing was a 1 + 1 = 3 business proposition. So myself and my partner joined Renaissance. We brought 9 properties in with the transaction and some cash. In addition, during that period, we signed an exploration alliance with Coeur Mining. And as many of you know, the majors are now recognizing that they need to invest in the juniors to have something in the pipeline for the mines of the next generation. So Coeur's been funding exploration in some selected areas in Nevada. We're in the second year of that alliance. We completed 2 private placements last year as well, one with Coeur as part of that alliance agreement and one with Kinross associated with a joint venture earn-in agreement on 3 properties. Those 2 private placements brought in about 1.6 million Canadian to the company. And the biggest part of the story is in the last year and a few months, we completed 10 new property deals. So despite the softness in the market, we're seeing quite a big ramp up in business activity within the company, which we're quite encouraged about. You can see the list of companies and the number of projects that they optioned on the slide. Again, we're attracting majors. We've got Kinross, we've got Anglo Gold. John mentioned the Australian influx. Ramelius Resources, S2 Resources, and Ginguro are all Australian companies who've come to Nevada. Last year and this year to date, since this year and a half ago, we've got 8 of those properties drilled with partners funding. More planned for the remainder of 18, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then earlier this year, we completed a financing for just over $3 million. So our business has ramped up significantly. We're having a lot of success, and we don't have a flagship, but we're hoping to develop that organically through discovery. This is just a map of Nevada showing you where our portfolio is. It's a diversified portfolio right now of 21 projects. Seeing that we're in Nevada, it's got more than half of those are Carlin-type targets. We've got about 8 epithermal targets and 1 intrusion-related target. Currently, 6 of those are in property agreements. As you know, with this model, you get partners come in, they test a target, they may stay, they may go, and sometimes the projects come back and cycle back through the company. At that point in time, we decide if we still think there's remaining target potential that's continually marketable to another partner, or we might move on. It's very important in a prospect generator to not get too attached to projects. You've got to be realistic business-wise and just move on. So we have a cycling of projects through the company with the goal of testing as many targets as we can and increasing probabilities for success through discovery. So just to recap the last couple of years, partners' money at work last year in the top box, we got 6 projects drilled. You can read the names and the projects, and we drilled just under 9,000 meters of drilling, all funded by partners. This year, on the bottom box, 4 of those projects have been drilled already. You can see Anglo Gold at Silicon, and you may all remember, or not remember, but Silicon is down in the Bear Mountain district near Beatty, where Corvus Gold has been announcing a lot of results from Mother Lode, and recently Coeur acquired Northern Empire for the Sterling property. So there's a lot going on in that district. We're glad to be a part of it. In fact, we were able to stake that ground. It was open ground in 2015 before any of this action was starting. So one of the things that we can do as a prospect generator is take advantage of down markets to acquire high-quality assets. S2 Resources drilled South Roberts earlier this year. Those results were released, and Kinross at Spruce East and Ramelius at Jupiter. Those programs are done. Those were both follow-up programs from encouragement from last year's drilling. Those results are just finishing coming in now and should be released in the next week or so. Coming yet this year is S2 Resources on Ecru. John mentioned that. That's in the Cortez camp, right across the valley from Cortez Hills and just north of Pipeline. So we're in a really good jurisdiction. It requires drilling deeper, but the prize is quite large if you happen to come onto it. And then Anglo Gold is going to come back for a second round of drilling at Silicon. Anglo Gold paid us an option payment in June, and they're coming back with about a 17,000 meter program starting in October. So we've not been able to release the results specifically, but the encouragement is significant enough for them to come back with that large program. So I think I mentioned this. We had positive results following up, so Anglo Gold, Kinross, and Ramelius. So again, we're happy to see that the project generation is moving on to the second phase of drilling, meaning there's encouragement, and one of these years, hopefully I can't tell you which one or when, is going to become our next discovery. Just a quick slide for those of you following this district. So this is the Bear Mountains district down by Beatty, and what you can see on this slide is the blue box is the Sterling property, which was acquired a couple of years ago by Northern Empire and then recently sold to Coeur for about $117 million. The yellow block is the Corvus block, which includes the Mother Lode deposit, and you can see the arrow pointing to Mother Lode. All the results that they've been releasing on Mother Lode are coming out of a small inlier claim block within the Sterling. And then you can see the Silicon project in the red outline, and what's happening here is the mining at Sterling is actually down in the Paleozoic basement in the sedimentary rocks. North Bullfrog is up in the volcanics. Bullfrog, which was the historic mine, which was the best, actually the largest occurrence in the district to date. And Silicon is up also high in the tertiary section where we have a bunch of historic steam-heated mercury zones. So at Silicon, and I hope we'll be talking about this more in the coming months, we potentially have the whole system preserved from the high-level tertiary alteration all the way down to the sediments that are being exploited at Sterling. So I think there's a a developing story here, both on the corporate and geologic level, that is worth following. So just continuing on, so last year our total expenditure as a company was just under $4 million. Kind of small, but for a prospect generator, we're happy to be getting a lot of money spent in the ground. A little less than half of that is our burn, just to keep the lights on and keep the technical ideas flowing at Renaissance, and a little bit more than half of that was spent by partners. This year, our total spend is probably going to be more like $5 to $6 million. And again, with the same level of burn, we've really ramped up the activity and the amount of money being spent and invested in the company by partners. A lot of that is actually happening with Anglo Gold down at Silicon, because their follow-up program of 17,000 meters is probably about a $3 million program. So we're quite happy to be operating at this level. On the other side of it, the share price hasn't really caught up, but I think the market's waiting for an asset to raise its head above the rest, which is why we operate a portfolio and increase the probabilities that way. Cash summary, this is a little bit out of date. Our last release financials, you can see on the top line, we did a financing in May. So reportable treasury at about 4.4 million minus what we've spent since the financing, so we're probably at 3.6, 3.7, which for us is about 2 years of burn. If Anglo Gold completes the option on Silicon, it brings $3 million of non-dilutive financing to the company, so that would buy us another couple of years of operating expenses as well. So right now we sit at sort of 2 to 4 years. Share structure, we're unfortunately been trading at near a 52-week low, but many companies have that same issue right now, but we've kept the share structure pretty tight, 62 million shares out. You can see the numbers, market cap just below 12 million. About 30% of those shares are well placed with insiders, management, strategic partners, and long-term holders. And so just to sum up, what are our value drivers? We've had strong deal flow. We've got good reputation, continue to attract the same companies back for multiple deals, which is why we continue doing generative work, because people want to come back and see new product on the shelf, so to speak. We got 6 programs drilled last year. Again, 6 programs this year. It's a good level of activity. And we continue active generative programs. So we're operating at a level that we're comfortable with, and we think it's raising the probabilities of our success. And so I'd invite you to stay tuned to what's going on with Renaissance in the coming months, weeks and months and years, and also invite you to come over and talk with us more in the booth in the corner of the other room. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.